Welcome to the Nerd Party.
Maximum more. Punch it. Punch it.
Punch it, Bishop!
Punch it.
Punch that shit!
Let's punch it.
Hello and welcome to episode 36 of Punch It. I am your co-host Tristan Riddell, and with me as always is...
Charlene Schmidt.
Oh man, Char. Today we're going to do part 2 of a discussion that we started last week, but yet teased weeks before that, because we're talking a prequel TV show centered around the USS Enterprise C. No bloody A, no bloody B, but Enterprise C.
That is correct. My favorite ship that never really did get a show, which is why it's getting the attention that it deserves on Punch It.
It's true, because if you didn't listen to last week, we definitely recommend that you do. We're not going to do an entire recap of what we talked about last week, but please listen to last week's, then listen to this one, because we came up with a concept of what if Discovery wasn't happening, but yet CBS came to us and said, okay, you have to create a prequel show. What era do you want to set it in? And both you and I were like, Enterprise C, Enterprise C, Enterprise C, with Rachel Garrett as the captain. And so that's what we did. The concept that we came up with, just real briefly, was they were set in that time, and it's right before Rachel Garrett gets the Enterprise C. We find out that she used to be a politician, a very seasoned politician, very groomed diplomat. And
career politician, kind of. I think we might have even said that she comes from a family line where this is kind of what they do. This is the footsteps she was expected to fall into, and she did. But she was craving a little bit of adventure, and so she joined in Starfleet because she felt that not only could she get her adrenaline junkie going, but at the same time make a little more difference as a Starfleet captain than she could be behind a desk and attending meetings and conferences and dealing with other bigwig politicians.
And also on top of that, the reason why she was chosen for the Federation flagship of Enterprise C is because they wanted a diplomat, the Federation and Starfleet, because of weird stuff going on in the Alpha and Beta Quadrant with the Romulans and the Klingons. They haven't heard from the Romulans in crazy long time. Stuff is on edge with the Klingons. I mean, what we know of the sea, with Narendra 3 and their untimely fate, the Federation was just a breath, a heartbeat away from war with the Klingons. And They averted that. And so her goal, as we said last week, like we developed this concept, her goal is to go out to the border and try to establish peace with the Romulans. Yeah,
and basically she is doing that with everybody, with the Klingons, with the Romulans, maybe with the occasional other race if we need a little bit of a breather from the main story. She is there to maintain the peace, to keep the peace. She is a wicked good negotiator because of her diplomatic skill. And so that is the primary concept that we outlined here. So why don't we get started with our characterizations with the captain, Rachel Garrett, since we're talking about her already?
Well, what we said last week was we wanted to develop a captain who was kind of a mix between Picard and Sisko.
Right.
Where you have the diplomacy and the historical knowledge of Picard, but also the crazy tactician that is Sisko.
Right.
Now,
yes.
What else would you want to add to that? Like, what kind of personal things do you want to add?
Well, okay, before we get into really, personal little details, like her favorite color is whatever, and that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, because that's totally what I was thinking. What's your favorite color?
Yeah. Her favorite flower is roses, that sort of thing.
Okay, well, yeah, I could see that.
She likes dark roast coffee. I could go on. But no, I think one thing that I thought of, just kind of out of the blue, is the fact that this is her first command. We established that, yes? I want to add in a little bit of an edge and say she did not attend Starfleet at the typical, I guess, entry point age. You know how, a lot of people, they go into Starfleet Academy, much as how a lot of high schoolers here will go into college or the university system, what have you, at around 18. No, Captain Garrett didn't. She's a late bloomer to Starfleet, which is also, I think, why they gave the Enterprise C to her as her first command, because she's got the maturity behind her. Yes, it's her first command, but she's got the negotiation and diplomatic skill. But she's got some life experience behind her too. She's not just she's not like a Kelvin versus Jim Kirk. And she's not nearly that rough and tumble. She's a lot more seasoned, a lot more cool-headed, a lot more think before you leap.
I like that a lot because, I mean, that's kind of, it goes with what we're saying. I mean, like, she had a career before she went into Starfleet. And so I think here's one way, because Rachel Garrett, the Rachel Garrett that we know, the actress who played her, looks really good. And but
Trisha
the thing,
O'Neill.
Thank you very much. I forgot her name. Here's the thing. In Star Trek, people obviously age better. And people
Yes.
people look better than what we would perceive as their age, because I found out, I read somewhere, I can't remember where, I'm pretty sure it's legit, like a producer said this or something, where Picard is actually 10 years older than Patrick Stewart.
Yes, I do believe so. I mean, I don't remember exactly where I've read that, but I know that's out there.
Yeah, it's out there, and so we can take that to Rachel Garrett, if not even more, and say like, oh, she's 50 or 60. You know,
I was thinking 50s because Trisha O'Neill, when she filmed this episode, I think maybe she was in her 40s.
Okay, so
So
let's
you
just
advance her 10 years.
And there you go. And so that way you can say like, okay, well, if she's that age and this is her first command, but she has so much life experience, so much diplomacy experience, that's why they're not scared to give her the Enterprise in her first command. And so that totally makes sense to me. And I really like that avenue, because I love the idea, like whenever you see somebody who's a bit older, like sometimes you'll sneak them into the extras. Like on the Enterprise D, you'll see some white-haired individuals who are clearly in their 60s or 70s, and they have like a rank of lieutenant junior grade. And I love that, because not everybody has to go to the academy at 18.
Right. Yeah, this is not something we've really seen at all in Star Trek, and especially with a senior officer. We've not seen somebody enter the academy kind of late. I mean, we've always seen people who are career Starfleet their whole lives. That's their complete life purpose. And maybe even if they change tracks within Starfleet, like Janeway started as a science officer and then went into command. No, I think this is a nice new dimension to show, and I think it really fits her.
I think so too. And I know we're not bringing in any kind of non-canon stuff into this, but I remember there was a novel, a Deep Space Nine novel, where they introduced a character who was a commander, a 3-star, a 3-pip person, and he was 100.
Oh, really?
And looked awesome. Like he was like he had wrinkles and white hair, but he was just like built like a healthy, 50, 60-year-old.
That's going to be Patrick Stewart when he's 100 in real life.
In real life, in the 21st century.
Whatever he is doing, man, just keep it up. He looks so good.
He bathes in the blood of the innocent. It's clear that that's what he does. He sleeps underneath a pentagram every single night. Something dark is going on with that individual.
Whatever it is, it's working, and I encourage him to keep it up.
Okay, so we've established that. And actually, before we get into even more characterization, I want to talk about how last week we said we opened up the floor to a whole bunch of individuals saying, hey, let us know what you thought of the Enterprise C show. And, let us know if you have any ideas to add on to it. Like what do you think would be cool to see in this TV show? And we got so many emails. People were super excited about this. Now we don't have enough time to address all of them because we got so many and they're all great, but we chose some of our favorites. And one right off the top that I want to talk about is one guy who's a really nice guy. We follow each other on Twitter. His name's Andrew Swearingen, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Andrew. He talked to us about continuity, and he reminded us ever so gently. He was such a gentleman about it.
Truly. For real. We're not being sarcastic.
Seriously. Like, he was talking about how, this is what he says. If I remember right from the TNG, The Neutral Zone, episode, the Romulan Empire hasn't been heard from in almost 50 years at the start of TNG, meaning that contact with the Romulans would have been sparse at the time of Captain Garrett. This would place nicely into the isolationist agenda or angle you guys talked about, and one of the Romulan commanders hints at internal conflict that led to the Romulans closing their borders. So we're gonna have to I don't want to abandon the premise, and so we're gonna have to stretch canon just a little bit.
I was gonna say we're gonna have to fudge with this just a little bit. There's gotta be some way to work around contact with the Romulans, leading to isolation, leading to things like, why have we not heard much from them? But we are going to have to interact with the Romulans just a little bit, maybe a little more than a little bit, to make this work. And the thing is I don't feel like it's completely off base, despite this factoid, which, thank you for reminding us, I'd completely forgotten. But with the Romulans attacking the Klingon base at Narendra 3 and the Enterprise C intervening, there is involvement there. So, I don't know. I still think we can work with this, but we're going to have to be more careful.
We're going to have to be careful with what we do, but people who are listening, let's not let canon get in the way of a good story. So let's, let's try to respect it as much as we can, but move with it.
Tristan, do you not know anything about Star Trek fans on the internet?
No, I've never met one before.
Yeah.
Now, what Andrew also reminded us of is in Deep Space Nine's Way of the Warrior, he said that there were multiple references to 20 years of peace with the Klingons. So that would work out to because the last that I think when the Enterprise C was destroyed, it was 22 years ago or something like that. So there could be total hostilities between Undiscovered Country and Way of the Warrior, Enterprise D and everything like that. That Enterprise C would fit right in the middle of that. So we're totally good with the Klingons. We're just gonna have to dance around Romulans. So what somebody sent you something. What else do you have there?
Yeah, we've got another email from somebody named Alex Will, and one thing that I really loved about this person's email was the idea of, for one thing, we got praised for the characterization of Rachel Garrett. Alex thought that was fantastic, so thank you. But in terms of roles, one suggestion that Alex had was having an intelligence officer, and I fell in love with this idea right away because of the whole thing with the Romulans. We mentioned this ever so briefly, and then what Alex did was took it and ran with it and said the whole thing about the drama with peace and whatnot, it would be interesting to see somebody discreetly collecting information on the Klingons /Romulans /Cardassians, and maybe that eventually leads to some trouble. Maybe that leads to some super secret, oh my god, I can't believe this happened sort of thing. With the exception of the idea that this person is not Section 31, because we've done that before, and that is a brilliant idea. I completely agree. Thank you so much, Alex, for writing in.
Yes, I love that idea. I loved it, because it's something that we've never had on a starship before, and officially, that is. And
right.
I like that it's official intelligence officer, not shady clandestine Section 31. This is Federation Starfleet sanctioned intelligence officer, specifically given to Rachel Garrett to help her in her mission.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. If we are dealing with things like negotiation, political hubbub, and a lot of danger of things falling apart really quickly. Things could go to war in an instant with one failed negotiation, or they could forge peace. Those are serious extremes. There's a lot on the line, and you kind of do need somebody working behind the scenes getting you the truth. Because words mean only so much sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. You gotta make sure people are actually telling the truth in diplomacy.
Exactly. So in a weird way, it's almost like the Deanna Troi of, yes, they mean what they say, it's good, or this person's a complete liar and you shouldn't trust them. This person is out there to get the actual facts, put their life on the line to make sure that things are going to go the way they need to go. Let's put it that way. So maybe we start with characterizing this person, this intelligence officer.
Let's do that. Let's do it because we do have some other suggestions. We'll get to those, but let's start with framing the intelligence officer. So this is not the first officer. This is not the second commander or anything like that. This is the intelligence officer. They're not security. They're not operations. This is intelligence. So,
Right.
what are we thinking? Male, female, human, alien? What pops into your brain?
You know what? The first thing pops into my mind is Odo. But it can't be Odo. I'm not saying that, but I'm meaning maybe personality-wise, maybe with the way that Odo thinks. Odo liked working behind the scenes, so maybe that's what's kind of getting me into this. But maybe this person is a little bit of a loner, is a little think outside the boxer, certainly not afraid to take risks, and maybe even gets in some trouble with Captain Garrett because this person acts without a little bit of permission. Just has to do what he has to do. I'm thinking it's a male. And I'm thinking this guy's a little rough and tumble, despite how delicate the job is.
My brain went in the exact opposite direction.
Okay, do tell.
Now, I'm not saying we should go with my idea. I'm just like, this is where my brain went when I heard intelligence officer. I was thinking female, who probably human, but somebody who is the most comfortable, outgoing person you've ever met, who can slip into any conversation, any bar, any bazaar, any conference room and fit right in, or be the outgoing person. Be the person who is the life of the party, or be the fly on the wall. Like you say, it makes you think of Odo, the changeling. I'm thinking of a person who is not a literal changeling, but a figurative one who can alter their personality to fit the bill so that they can go in and get the intelligence, not just by hacking a computer, but by socially hacking a person's conversation.
Ooh, that's a really interesting idea. I really do like that idea of somebody altering for the situation. That's probably needed for a position like that, because that's how you're going to get things done. And you have to be able to get along with anybody, and especially in the darkest and dirtiest of places, the people you really don't want to be socializing with, they're the ones you're going to get the most valuable information from most of the time.
Now, what if she wasn't human and she was a race kind of like the Perfect Mate from TNG, played by Famke Janssen, where she could tailor her own personality to whomever she was with, but yet this person won't be matched with somebody. She can just do that. So, I'm not saying it has to be that species, but somebody like that, where that's inherent. It's not just a talent. That is her. That's her species and her superpower.
Gosh, that's so close to being a changeling. It's a personality changeling.
Yeah.
That really seems to suit. Okay, well, I'm abandoning my idea. I really like yours. The direction I was going to go was this was going to be a Vulcan intelligence officer. And then when the Romulans found that out, they were going to be super pissed.
I think, okay, so let's run with that idea, but not for the intelligence officer. So we have a female alien intelligence officer who can change personalities at will and fit in and blend in. But I say let's go with the Vulcan on the ship, because that can lead into maybe Rachel Garrett's okay, I want a Vulcan on my crew because they are so close to the Romulans that maybe that can be a bridge.
And it ends up severely backfiring because the Romulans have some feelings about the Vulcans.
Right.
I like that. Yeah, I do think we do need a Vulcan on this crew. Now, what position on the ship is the Vulcan going to have? We did get one suggestion about that. Somebody suggested, and it might have been Andrew, saying an engineer.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, because Vulcans they can have a lot of ingenuity. And when we were talking about innovation of the Enterprise C, I completely see a Vulcan fitting that bill too.
And we've never seen a Vulcan in that role before, never even referenced in that role before, because we've seen him as the first officer, a science officer, and a security officer, and a medical officer on TNG. So that's about it. So
yeah, I mean, honestly, The closest I think we ever got was when in the motion picture Spock was helping fix the Enterprise's engine troubles. That's the closest thing I think we've possibly had. So let's go with that idea. I love it.
I love it. Okay, so Vulcan engineering, so what's this Vulcan like? Male, female? Like maybe we could get a different race of Vulcan because we've gotten white and black.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe we could throw in an Asian Vulcan.
Okay.
'Cause why not?
Well, yeah, why not indeed? Well, let's do that. And does that mean, beyond just looks, does that mean different? I don't know. We've never seen a Vulcan really with an accent or anything to that degree, have we?
I don't think like it's not like this Vulcan, even though they're Asian looking, is going to be raised in Earth Asia, so I don't think they have to be like from a different part of Vulcan. I think it's just this would be an opportunity to show diversity within the Vulcan race, and so
okay,
I
just
think,
another face.
Yeah, I mean,
Sure, that makes sense, and let's maybe not sweat so many of the details.
Yeah, let's not worry about that too terribly much. But I know that we have a female captain, and now we have a female intelligence officer. I want a female Vulcan. I want a female Vulcan in engineering because I love B'Elanna Torres. I love me some B'Elanna Torres. You know that, and we don't really get female Vulcans that much.
It's true. We had T'Pol.
That's true. Forgot about T'Pol.
She was kind of a prominent character on that show called Enterprise.
Kind of a big deal.
Kind of. And we were even talking not that long ago about shipping Trip and T'Pol.
I know. I don't know where my head was at. I was just thinking Tuvok and
I just have to give you
Spock.
crap.
So
yeah. Well, yeah. Therefore, we have kind of an even balance between male Vulcans and female Vulcans. Well, we could make her female. I've got no problem with that. Okay, female
Asian Vulcan. Awesome.
I love it. She's
Very
got
logical.
long dark hair.
Yes, long hair. None of that short bowl cut thingy going on.
No, she's got that long hair.
I'm
thinking like original series-esque, just freaking gorgeous. She's a goddess in terms of her looks. But of course she has brains, and she's got like the Steve Jobs-esque mentality, I think, of engineering, where she's constantly thinking of new things to do.
I love the idea of putting a logic-based individual in engineering, because if something goes wrong, they're like, okay, well, if it's not this, then it has to be this, and if it's not this, and it's not this, and it's not this, then it has to be this.
Right.
There's only so many combinations that would make something work or not work.
They've got the flow chart in their head.
Yes. Thank you very much. You put words to it. They got the flow chart in their head. Perfect.
Right.
So there we go. All right.
So that's great. She'll be an amazing engineer. She will innovate new things that's going to advance technology in the Enterprise C era and bring it to Enterprise D standards, at least paving the way.
And that there's two references to the Enterprise C in TNG. There's one in yesterday's Enterprise, which is a pretty big one, and then there was another one that we talked about where Riker mentioned the innovation that happened on Enterprise C. So this could be a rich area where a Vulcan engineer helped pave the way to make Enterprise C an innovative ship.
Yeah. Well, and especially with Vulcans being so science-centric, we should really have seen this by now anyway. So let's get this done.
So let's talk about the XO. I want to talk about the XO.
We need to do this. Yes.
Yeah.
What sort of a first officer does Rachel Garrett need?
I'm thinking a Native American man, maybe a tattoo on his forehead that kind of goes down to his cheek. Like he's this humble warrior type.
Oh, does flute music play whenever he talks about ancient legends and his people?
You know what? I didn't think of that, but yeah, let's go with that.
I hate to break it to you, but it's been done.
Oh, crap, man. First T'Pol, now Chuckles, so... Oh, okay. Okay, so let's not do that.
It can't be Chakotay's ancestors. We know what they did. Let's not go there. But what can we do here? We got a couple of aliens. We've got a couple of humans. We haven't even gotten to Richard Castillo yet, but we know that he's there.
Yeah, he was the helmsman.
Correct.
So we have Richard as the helmsman. So we know, that's, boom, that position's done. Richard's the helmsman.
Right. I'm not sure if I want another human or another alien at this point.
I say let's do Alien.
Okay, what are you thinking?
Well, what if it was a smuggled out Bajoran?
I feel like that might be pushing it just a little too much.
Okay.
Especially since we're going to have the big reveal of the Cardassians mucking around with everybody.
Okay.
I don't want it to be a Bajoran. Sorry, I'm vetoing.
No, hey, that's fine. I wasn't married to it. Right when I said it, I was like, that's a stretch.
Okay,
Okay.
but maybe we go with a more humanoid alien. What if it's somebody that we don't, or maybe if it's a race we don't know a whole lot about, but they're mentioned all the time in Star Trek, like a Katarian, or what else?
I don't like that idea, Katarian. Why not? We're familiar with it. We never really see them outside of a hybrid.
Right.
You know?
I mean, we knew Naomi Wildman. And we've seen Katarian eggs in Star Trek Generations.
Now, would it be weird to do like a trill?
The thing is, though, is I kind of feel like we've done that. We had
We're all trilled out.
Jadzia, we had Ezri.
All right, I got you. Okay,
We gotta be a
Let's
little
do-
different. I mean, I love the trill. Don't get me wrong.
Let's do Katarian then. Let's do Katarian.
Okay, they've got a few horns on the forehead. We can develop their culture.
Yes, very much so. We can develop the culture, and that way we can appreciate Naomi Wildman a little bit more. Yeah, and like
Yeah.
where she comes from and where her husband comes from and everything like that. So, well,
Okay,
not Naomi's husband, but Samantha's husband.
No, I know what you mean. Now, personality-wise, though, what is this first officer? How is this first officer going to interact with Captain Garrett, first and foremost? Like, what sort of counterbalance does she need? Because that's usually the dynamic of the captain and first officer.
Fair. Yeah, you can't have two personalities exactly the same as Captain and XO.
No.
So if Rachel Garrett is a diplomatic tactician who used to be a politician, then her XO would have to be probably a little bit more fly by the seat of his pants, maybe a little bit of a Tom Paris kind of deal.
Maybe a little more
Yeah.
willing to take risks and act on impulse, take action rather than trying to think your way through it and talk your way through it and then sign the treaty at the end.
Yeah, but then why would Rachel Garrett choose that personality?
Maybe it's because she knows that she's been a politician for so long. I mean, she kind of knows that procedure down to a T. She needs somebody to help her think outside that box. Because occasionally things don't go as you want them to, life is messy, the universe is chaotic. She needs that different perspective, and I don't know how much detail we want to go into in terms of their relationship, like how long they've known each other and whatnot, but maybe she knows this person is going to tell her what she needs to know without holding back, even if it's exactly what she doesn't want to hear. If this person says to do the opposite of what she wants to do, she'll still consider it because she values this person's perspective.
I like that. I like to think that she chose this person specifically because he's an out of the box thinker. He is quick to action, but not reckless. Like no one gets that high in the ranks with being reckless.
Can't be reckless, but maybe this person's a little bit of a hothead. So conversely, Garrett has got to walk him off the edge on occasion. And I don't know why I'm making it a male, but I guess
we talked about that. We talked about him being a male. I mean, like
okay.
having that dynamic. I'm going to say right off the bat, no sexual tension. None of that. None. Zero. It's going to be like Kira and Cisco. That's what it's going to be like.
Professional working relationship. Yes, I agree.
So this person is very, very cordial, like is good with the crew, can manage the crew because they have to. They're an XO. But I'm thinking like a young Will Riker kind of deal.
I was thinking younger too, just because Garrett is quote unquote older as a commander. So you've got the more younger, adventurous type as the XO.
Yeah, let's do it that way. Like where, so Rachel Garrett took her time to get through Starfleet and took her time to actually go to the academy. And what if this character is the opposite of that, where he always knew he wanted to be in Starfleet, graduated early, rose the ranks super fast, doesn't have a lot of years under his belt, but he has the ranks because he achieved so much so quickly. So he's a little bit of a wunderkind. So maybe mix in some Wesley Crusher and Will Riker together.
Okay, yeah, I like it. A little bit of a hot shot, and that way Captain Garrett can kind of temper him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very much a Will Riker mixed in with a little bit of Wesley Crusher.
Right. Like, so he has the abilities to back up his rank, but he's not as mature as Rachel Garrett is.
Yeah, I like it. My only concern is I think maybe we might be making him a little too Will Riker-ish, where he's a little too willing to take risks. Is probably, I'm gonna guess, just for the sake of TV, he's probably going to be a little bit of a ladies' man or a man's man or whatever he's attracted to, because Captain Garrett, we have not delved too much into her personal life. Does she have a relationship going on? Do we want to see the lead involved in some sexy shenanigans? Or is this going to go to him? In which case, then he's Will Riker.
Yeah, I don't... okay, yeah, I don't want to make him a Will Riker clone.
Me neither. So we got to give an edge here.
Okay, so, like, what if we scrap that? What if we scrap that and we go in a completely different direction? So Rachel Garrett is an individual who is, as we constantly have been saying, is diplomatic. So you can't be a cold diplomat. You have to be an understanding person. You have to be able to talk and address people and love your enemy. What if the XO is cold and calculating? Like,
maybe lacks compassion a little bit, where it's like, this is business.
Runs things by the numbers. Not a Vulcan, not like devoid of passion, but just very, calculates everything. Everything's a number. Everything's a statistic. Everything has an approximation. Everything has a contingency. Like always has a plan up his sleeve. But like he can be cold, where he's like, well, let's do this because like the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, kind of thing, but way less poetic. It's like, because we have a 13% chance better of doing it this way. And she's like, well, it's not all about the percentages sometimes. Sometimes you have to go with what you know is right. You can see one of those conversations happening between these two.
And then that kind of makes me think of Garrett as more of like a Janeway, where Janeway had that level of compassion. I don't know.
Did she?
Especially in the earlier seasons, yes, she did. Now, later on, she was more just like, screw it, fire the torpedoes. But there's my horrible Janeway impression for the week. But this is tough. This is really tough.
This is really tough. Rachel Garrett just came to us, just like in a vision.
Well, and she's perfect, and I love her already.
Yeah.
She's my homegirl. And I do want to throw out there, I do want her to have some sort of relationship going on. Because that's only fair. I want her to have it all, just a little bit. Where she's got maybe a distant relationship going on, but the line of duty keeps her away from it a lot. So it's really tough to balance it.
Hey, what about this?
The antithesis of Janeway.
What if we take that a step further and her husband is on the ship?
Oh, I love that idea. Maybe, is he not Starfleet?
I don't know, because how would we work around that? Because...
it's a Starfleet ship.
It's a Starfleet ship, and we know that it was okay in Deep Space Nine with Jadzia and Worf, but like they actually changed, like because of what happened to them. Like Cisco recommended that they change the rules about married couples going on missions together, like away missions together.
I don't know.
But
I think it's easier.
Then.
I think it's a little easier if he has some sort of capacity of duty on the ship, but maybe he's not Starfleet. Sort of like how Keiko and Miles O'Brien were married, but she wasn't Starfleet.
Yeah, but that was on a station, so you can have your family on a station.
Yeah.
Like the Enterprise D was a new concept. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. So what we talked about last week, we said that like the Federation and Starfleet specifically choosing a diplomat for the captaincy of the flagship was a beta program for the D, like them dipping their toes in the water. Now, the D is the first ship that we know of to have families and kids.
Yes.
Now, what if part of this program was we had that in a limited amount where you couldn't have just civilians and random families and kids on the Enterprise C, but you could have spouses if they served a function.
Well, I think that's fair. And we could decide what this guy does, but I love the idea where she's got her husband with him.
Yeah, I love it.
Ooh, okay.
I want to do
Let's
that.
go with that, but okay, we've got to go back to our XO, I suppose.
So friggin' XO.
We have so many other characters we need to go to as well, and we're already well underway on our time here. So, I don't know. In a way, I think like maybe a young person who's a little quick to jump the gun, but also a little calculating.
Yes.
Maybe just enough to be a little different. And then we go into the writer's room with people way smarter than us, and they help us refine it.
That's such a cheat, but I'm willing to say it.
I know, it's such a cop-out, and I'm willing to move. Yeah, I'm willing to go with it because we got to keep going. Now, do we want to move over to Castillo, the one person besides Rachel Garrett that we know?
I don't think we really need to describe him too terribly much because we got a lot of exposure to him and his personality on yesterday's Enterprise. I think we know who that is. He's a helmsman. Yeah. He's handsome. He's confident, and he's the Tom Paris basically. He's a warm Tom Paris.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, okay. I'm willing to go with that. He's a good, loyal Starfleet officer. He's thinking that's going to be his career. He has high hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome, bro. You pilot that ship. You do a good job.
There you go. Okay,
so that's done.
We have engineering. We have engineering. We have the intelligence officer. We kind of have an XO. We have a captain. We have the helm.
Yes. We need a doctor. Yes. Now, before the show, I was kind of thinking, like, what sort of a doctor do we want? And I didn't come up with any terribly great suggestions other than I thought maybe we have a woman.
I was thinking an old man. We go back to the old man doctor, the old country doctor, a la McCoy.
And I was thinking not quite a Pulaski type, but maybe neither then.
Because
we've done it. We've been there.
Well, okay, I know, but think of it this way. The last time we've been there was in the 60s.
Yeah.
And okay, so like in TNG we have a brash, sultry redhead female.
Uh-huh.
And then we get Pulaski, who is basically McCoy, but a female version of McCoy. And then we have Julian Bashir, who is the heartthrob, the young heartthrob.
Indeed,
male.
Yes.
And then we have Voyager, which is the inanimate digital
EMH.
projection, EMH,
right.
And we all know his arc.
And then we've got Phlox.
And then we got Phlox, who is the alien who has all these old home remedies, which is amazing.
Right. And I love Phlox. I almost want a Phlox-like character, but then you're just copying Phlox.
So what's something that hasn't been done yet? If we don't want to do the old cantankerous man, and we don't want to do the good-looking heartthrob, whether they're male or female, I don't really want to do an alien. I want to do a human doctor.
Okay. What can we do here? We have somebody kind of like mid-career.
I don't know. I don't know why I keep thinking old. I hate this. I want to see somebody like who is actually older, like an actor who is later in their years, because we see that so rarely in television.
It's so true. You might be able to sell me on this.
Because I hate all these shows where everybody has to be in their early 20s and a super genius. And everybody has to be like, everybody has to have rock hard abs and is just like super fit and in their mid 20s and is just an Adonis. You're like, why are you on the ship? You could be a model. I'm tired of that. And so like, I know that like, and I feel like the Doctor's a way to break out of that because, like, I'm not trying to diss anybody, but Robert Picardo and Billingsley are not exactly models and they're not exactly young.
No.
And neither was Pulaski. Well, I mean, like
Okay.
when so I don't know. I'm
All
rambling
right.
now.
I think we can run with this. We have an older doctor who maybe is coming to the end of his Starfleet career.
I like
He's been in Starfleet for a really long time. He has seen a lot.
What about an apprenticeship is going on because of that?
Ooh, kind of auditioning the replacements a little bit.
Yeah, like she like they need somebody with his type of experience. Maybe he specializes in alien physiology, maybe specifically what we know of Romulans or
Hmm.
something like that.
Okay.
And so he's at the end of his career and he's willing to go on this one last mission, but he needs to train his replacement. So we get kind of like a Dr. Kess relationship going on, but official.
Sure. Or even like Bones and Nurse Chapel. So there's your original series rhetoric.
There you go.
Okay. I dig it. Let's go with it.
And so then we can develop like that way we can have both. Like I get my old not cantankerous, but like an old man at the end of his career, and then maybe we can have that up and coming woman who is trying to prove herself, and she's fresh out of medical school and was top of her class and everything like that, but yet she has no real field experience. And he's like, well, buckle
Right.
in because it's not all textbooks.
Yeah, he has a lot of wisdom to depart, and she's going to learn from the best. And then maybe somewhere down the line, maybe he gets killed in action and she's got to take over, ready or not.
Yes, like that is, I mean, everybody kind of knows when we're watching the show, oh, he's going to get killed on an away mission. Something's going to happen where he's going to be incapacitated and she has to rise up
Yeah,
and
he's not going to retire, the poor guy.
we all know it as an audience.
But deep down, he wouldn't want it any other way.
Right. Yeah, he wants to die with his
There we
boots
go.
on. Yeah.
Great. Okay, fantastic. And it'll still be sad and we'll all cry and we'll miss him greatly.
Now, do we
Okay.
need to talk security?
We don't have to. We could, but
Yeah.
it's sort of like Ops. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we could, but it's going to maybe be one of the lesser developed characters, I'm thinking.
I think for us, it can just be like, oh, ops is a thing, or like, operations.
There's going to be like a Lieutenant J who's there. Like, it's a background character. We see that person almost every week. We know who that person is, but we don't know much about him.
Yeah.
And then decades later, somebody who can take the punch-it mantle and develop that person's backstory.
Exactly.
So I'm perfectly cool with that.
I'm cool with that too. So there we go.
Okay, so any little things that you want to tie up then? Like, are there any other positions that we absolutely must fill? Any things in the background?
Well, we haven't talked about a science officer.
Do we need that too? Maybe we do.
I feel like we might need a science officer.
For a diplomatic ship?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think so. I mean, you gotta have something. You gotta have, because they're on the edge of the frontier. They're monitoring the border, so they're going to still experience the unknown. It's just secondary to the mission, where like we talked about how
It's true.
diplomacy is
But-
primary and exploration is secondary.
What if we combine ops and science? So they're
Okay.
carrying out basic day-to-day operations, but specializing in scientific instruments to handle that aspect of things.
Okay, because the budget cuts, we couldn't afford the two
Totally.
salaries
I
and
mean,
the benefits and everything, so we got to
Starfleet,
combine.
Yeah, they're struggling in this era, man. They need all the help they can get. They're
It's
cutting
like,
corners left and right.
Finding a web developer who's also a video editor, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. So, what do we want for a science officer?
Do we branch out and have another alien? Where we have more aliens on this ship than we're used to, which I'm all for. I like that idea. Because we haven't.
Honestly, I'd be very okay with that. And that was actually one of the biggest suggestions we had from all the people. Like a good majority of the people who emailed us said, lots more aliens, more aliens. I completely agree. And then a little side note, like storytelling wise, I don't think it just deals with the Enterprise C crew either. I think we see stories told from the Romulan point of view when that is necessary, and also the Klingon point of view when that is necessary. Give it more dynamic storytelling because it is 2017.
I like the idea of structuring the show where each season we focus on one aspect of the mission, And maybe so, like, if we introduce the Cardassians, we have those Cardassian characters that we visit all the time for one season, and then we move on. So, like in season 2, we're mainly dealing with the Klingons, and so we have Klingon characters we grow to love and enjoy watching for one season. But then we move on, and the secondary crew is a Romulan crew or a Romulan diplomats or something like that we grow on. So stuff like that.
Even if we're telling aspects of the same story, what they're going to see is not the same as what our crew sees. And then we as the audience can piece it together. I think that would be really satisfying.
I think so too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
I think
so
that would
this-
just get us our
this
gears
operations-
grinding.
So this operations/science officer is an alien. Do we know what type of alien? Is it an alien that we've met before? Do we have a Beta Z in there? Or or do we have a benzo? Is it benzoate? It's not benzoate.
Benzite?
Benzoate is like in yogurt or something like that.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know either. I really don't.
Ask Jamie Lou Curtis about the yogurt. She knows.
So yeah,
That's
all we know,
Bifidus regularis.
I have no idea what's going on.
Our conversation has devolved. Let's not talk about yogurt anymore.
I know exactly which aliens we have, and that is the I'm totally blanking on the name, and people are going to be ashamed of me, and I'm stalling right now while I'm talking so that I can think about it in the back of my brain while my mouth is moving, and I am blanking. It's the antenna Shran. Andorians. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, you lose so many nerd points.
I know. I always forget the Andorians' name.
You know, I've lost so many nerd points on this show. Don't feel bad.
So they're like, let's have an Andorian. Like, we haven't actually seen really an Andorian in the Starfleet, and we know that they're part of the Federation. They're one of the founding members.
And the dynamic could be really different than, say, on Enterprise, where they're a little bit at odds with one another now.
Yeah.
So that's a great idea.
So there we go. We have it. Yeah.
Let's make this Andorian a little bit like of a Renaissance man or woman.
Mm-hmm.
Just into everything, loves the arts, the sciences. It's extremely creative and just a general joy to get to know because they have such a wealth of knowledge and insight and expertise.
Not just a warmonger, that we're used to seeing in Enterprise. Like not just a military person. Yeah.
No, I almost
like
want
that.
the antithesis of that.
Love it. Love that idea.
Cool. I love it.
Sweet.
I
All right,
want to see an Andorian who paints.
Oh, I can see it now in my head.
With antennae.
we're rounding third here. And the main aspect of today, we knew we wanted to talk about characters. And I feel like we've achieved that. Now, we have gotten some input from our own people on the network. And John Mills, who is a co-host of Great Shot Kid as well as Aggressive Negotiations, which everybody should check out at thenerdparty.com. He says that the real threat behind destabilizing peace in the Alpha Quadrant and Beta Quadrant should be the Cardassians, and that's how that's our first encounter with the Cardassians. They are the ones who are. We all think it's the Romulans trying to disable peace between the Federation and Klingons, but it's actually the Cardassians, and the Cardassians make it look like it's the Romulans.
Yes, 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 and yes.
Love that idea.
I totally agree. That was the thought running through my mind, actually, when we did our last podcast, and John just put it into much more eloquent words. And, oh, yeah, absolutely, because we don't know about the Cardassians, and then, oh, holy gosh, who are these guys? And they are messing with us. Not sure if we like them. They're causing us some serious problems with negotiations. Yeah. Oh, it'll be freaking great. Yes.
Now, we have another comment from another Nerd Party representative, and that was Philip Gilfus. Now, what did he say?
He wanted more aliens in the bridge crew. So, check.
Check.
Scenes on the Romulan ships. Check. Because we just talked about different storytelling points of view and the cost of peace. And in parentheses, he says, pilot ? Now, I think you could show maybe the cost of peace throughout the whole series. Mm-hmm. What it takes to achieve that.
Yeah.
Throughout. Not just the pilot.
I don't think that's just a pilot thing. I think that is a weekly, season-wide thing where peace is tough. It is not just a handshake that's at the end of a battle. It is something that you have to strive for constantly, and it can blow away with the batting of a butterfly's wings. That's how fragile it is.
Right. I feel like that is the show.
Yes.
That is the
that's show.
overarching theme of the show, is just how much constant and hard work it really is, how fragile it is, all of that.
Yes. I'm in total agreement. So there we go. I think we have our crew. We have a little bit more fleshed out areas of the show and the plot line and the setting and everything like that. I like it.
Yeah, I think if we wanted to keep going and mapping this out, we totally could, but we're at a good point right now where we've got a pretty decent idea of who these people are, what they're going to be doing out there, and what sort of adventures they're going to have.
I think we could definitely come back to this because, like, I remember when we did To the Journey, our Star Trek Voyager show, we had a couple of storylines that we would come back to every once in a while. We had a mirror universe in Voyager that we would continually come back to.
Yes.
And we also had an alternate reality where what if they got home? What if Voyager got home in season 4? So what would those 3 seasons look like, seasons 5, 6, and 7, if they were home during the Dominion War? And so we would come back and create stories. I feel like we can come back to this universe that we created in Enterprise C and what that looks like. I'd love to write the pilot episode. I'd love to say, like, this is what it's going to look like.
You read my mind. I thought somewhere down the line, let's write an actual Enterprise C episode. And we're going to have to come up with a series title. Series title
and character names. I think these are all things that we need to do. Yeah.
We got to do that. Do we want to take suggestions from our awesome listeners? Because they did such a great job of helping us map out some of these character points. Maybe they've got some names too. I'm open.
Please do. Yes, everybody came in droves and emailed us and contacted us. Please do it again. Let us know.
Loved it.
Give us some character backstories. Give us some character names. Give us some character specialties. All you need to do is go to thenerdparty.com/contact, select punch it from the drop-down menu, fill out the form, that send us an email, or you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/thenerdparty. Reply to this post, or you can find us on Twitter. The network account is @joinnerdparty. You can find me personally on Twitter at @theinsanerobin.
And you can find me at the profanity.
Now, I am so excited about this. I want to talk about it next week, but we shouldn't. We should take a break. We should talk about something else. Let's branch out and move on. But I want to thank everybody who emailed us, even if we didn't get to you today.
Thank you so much. It was fantastic reading all of that.
And so even though we have no idea what we're going to do next week, even though it's not going to be Enterprise C, I'm excited because we're going to punch it.
Ready for warp, sir. Let's punch it.
Join the revolution. Join the Nerd Party.